YouTube. Wait a second. Connection work. And then I'll be... Alright. Greetings, ladies and lads, and welcome to another painting stream. This time at 3:35 AM, at least for me. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm sorry for being so late. There were just technical difficulties on my end that I couldn't possibly seem to cure. Only after only after praising the Emperor it was that it actually worked. And yeah, today I'm also being joined by a special guest, the special guest Heinrich, who just blasted my eardrums for no fucking reason.
It happened perfectly with the camera to fucking go.
Alright.
I realize I can now play soundboard sounds during the stream. Let's fucking go. I can just... Yep.
Okay, nice.
I can give you some sound effect support here.
Maybe it was a mistake to to let you tag along. But yeah, for the last stream, if you watched the VOD, I was like rather a little bit unenthusiastic, a little bit tired, and Heinrich, in his graciousness, decided to just tag along and yeah, support me a little bit.
I mean, it's more that my sleep rhythm is fucking garbage. My sleep cycle, instead of fixing it, I'd rather just avoid it. So yeah, guess I'll go to bed in like 2 hours or 1.5, I guess.
Today marks also one of the few times that you'll see me with wired headphones, simply because my wireless headphones wouldn't let me talk to Discord and let the music play. So yeah.
Oh my god. I actually can't hear the music right now, but okay, yeah.
I'm certainly not here to support you, so I'm glad someone is. Alright. Well, good to know, Bash. I think... yeah?
Oh yeah. What should I do? Should I paint something? Should I draw something?
Well, guys, it's up to your discretion right now to tell Heinrich what he should do, if he should rather paint something or draw something. I'll actually shut down the light behind me. Yes, I can.
I could read something and give like a live copy what I am reading. I only go like, oh my god, whoa, that's crazy. Every 5 minutes or so, with no context.
Wait, what?
What if I started reading something or like watched a show, and I did a live commentary, but I do not give any context. I don't tell you what I'm reading or doing. I just go, yo, whoa, that's crazy.
They hit me with the TikTok live reactions of people just, without context, just, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Big L says, if you leave him as he is, he's just an Imperial Fist Centurion who's gone backroads modding. Oh yeah. Sure. But yeah, what did you want to say, Heinrich?
Thinking about whether I should draw digitally or should I paint something physically. That's the task right now. Let me see, is there something I want to draw right now?
Excellent question. I'm very excited to paint this Centurion, by the way. I've got this miniature for like, and I've actually got 3 of these guys from eBay years ago for like
weren't they
30
like
bucks.
Blue?
Yes.
Weren't they like blue?
No,
Last time I saw them?
You're 100% right. I just wanted to... the thing is, I wanted to use them for my own personal Space Marine chapter. And then I realized my chapter is entirely Primaris, my own homebrew chapter. And Centurions are 100% regular Space Marines. So, tactical Space Marines. First gen. So, yeah.
True, the helmet. But, like, does this mean you won't paint him in... Oh, yeah, no, your chapter is like... What's your color scheme again?
The color scheme is like an eggshell white, some orange, and a hint of blue to it.
Oh.
And some black. So, I want to play around with the idea of the more dangerous a unit is, the more black accent it has. So, for example, this Centurion would have his entire torso be black.
Oh.
So maybe I'll do that actually for this one. Because why not? Black is also a nice accent color for the yellow of the Imperial Fists.
That could look good, yeah.
Vash?
But you're gonna make him yellow instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also just love the Imperial Fists, so why not? Vash says, playing with fire, having a drink near your paint water. Oh yeah, definitely. But you know, need to have something to keep me awake. Just very big first bomb mobility chairs. Yeah, pretty much. Armor on top of armor. The first thing I want to do here is just line the outlines with a nice brown. Don't want to do the insides because that's where the yellow is going to be.
One thing I want to do until there's this website called Art, which is basically just an art exchange website.
Right.
Where like people post their characters, you make fan art of them, and then they might by making fan art of your character, right?
Yeah.
I did it once. It was kind of because honestly, like 90% of art on the website is free stuff.
Right.
Which is like not my thing. But like I did receive one piece of fan art on it, which was fucking incredible, like amazing. And I'm kind of like, maybe I'll participate this year again. So maybe I might draw something for that.
You chased that high.
Dude, it was such a good piece of artwork that I got. Like, holy shit. And also I know a person that's on that site, so I could just basically draw something for them, you know?
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. The sound might be a little bit all over today, for which I do apologize. Please let me know if you are experiencing some, you know, high highs and low lows. Because simply because of their new headphones, this sound is not, you know, optimized for the current headphones that I'm wearing, and for some reason that has influence on how the PC as a whole plays the music and stuff. But yeah. As you can see, the paint is also very thick here, which in part is due to me not shaking my spray paint properly, so that will explain all the bubbles you see here. And on the other hand, it is also due to the fact that this miniature is somewhat of an eBay rescue, as Steinrich hinted. These miniatures were, in their original configuration, blue. But I'm not playing the Ultramarines, so...
I want to paint Warhammer too. I just decided.
Alright. I also didn't want to paint the yellow over the blue, because I just thought that might be too painful. It's also hard enough to start to stream at 3 AM. Didn't want to put some extra, you know, roadblocks in my way.
Do you know how to paint shipped armor?
No, not really.
Ah, dang it. Alright.
I
still have my birthday present, which I want to paint.
Oh, which one? Which birthday present?
The pig.
The what?
The one I bought for myself. It wasn't really a present.
Oh, right.
More yeah.
Your
I still didn't...
Your birthday present that I've gotten for you is still at my place, by the way.
Yeah. Is it like something Warhammer related, or...?
It is. I can't spoil that much.
But is it something I can paint, or is it something different?
It used to be both. But now it's just something that you can paint.
Okay, I remember you saying, like, when I was painting Material, it's like, oh, it could help you paint Materials. Now I'm just confused.
Yeah. Big L says, I should be painting Space Wolves. Ooh. I do also have some Space Wolves that need some painting. So maybe we'll do that in another stream that'll come up. I have Morkai's Hunters. I would just really like to paint maybe one of them on stream to get a feeling for the color scheme. And then do the actual party, like, for a video. Bash says, my sisters are shelved until I catch up on my D&D minis for my campaign. Ooh. lot of projects,
gonna-
very busy men.
I'm gonna look up on YouTube paint chipped armor Warhammer. The thing is, I did already like paint armor in a way, with very boring. So, oh, but the problem is, what I'm looking for specifically. What was his name again? I forgot his name.
Which
Dang
one?
it.
Which one?
Gorbet Ironclaw.
Oh yeah.
You know what is you know his armor? Like it's
Yeah.
red, but clearly it's metal that was painted, chipped, and so the metal is showing underneath again. Like I want to achieve that.
I mean,
for the pigs.
There are some ways to do that, but I'd actually tell you to just look up a tutorial because trying to explain it without being able to show is kind of, whack. And there's so many different methods that, maybe you should actually do have a look for yourself. Oops, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, Vash is a very busy man. Currently taking care of his D&D campaign. And then we have Big L, who says more guys upgrades brew. I actually got the full team. By now tonight my sisters actually lived just outside Lurach. Lurach? What's that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't see any tutorial for the style I want. Do you have any black orcs?
Black orcs? Aye.
Yeah, because then I would have a tutorial idea for you, I guess. Because I do not see... well, hold on. What if I paint black orc Warhammer?
South western tip of Germany. Actually don't know that city. And by the way, welcome to everybody joining the stream. We'll be live for quite some time today. And this will also be a very interesting, experiment to see how many people we can get online on a Sunday night.
Trying out some different times, eh?
Yeah. You gotta...
In general, I'm not happy with my color scheme from our right now because it's boring. So maybe I should rework it today.
Big Air says, I suggest basing the model in gunmetal and silver and applying a black speed paint or ink. That's actually quite a good idea. And then, just scraping / damping off the wash. But I'm not quite sure if that's what he's looking at. You can get very black but slightly metallic look. I mean, Heinrich?
Yeah?
Do you want the whole armor to be... Do you actually want chipped armor? Or do you want your armor to be reddish metallic?
I would like it to be chipped.
Chipped, alright.
Yeah.
So I think that's not then what you're... We're getting grimy with this guy tonight? Oh yeah! The Imperial Fists are construction workers and doing the dirty work. On to the Iron Warriors, so I do want to be a little bit more rough on this guy than usual.
Alternatively, give me a sec, I'm gonna get something real quick. Oh!
Yeah, sure.
I clicked away from your stream and that made me think I, wasn't part of it anymore, but no.
The thing that you're saying, Big L, is actually quite a good idea, but I don't think that's the actual vibe that Heinrich is going for. The thing that I said about that there are so many different ways to achieve... By the way, is the music too wild? I'm not quite sure. The thing that I talked about... Holy shit, we're starting off strong with the music tonight, holy shit. What I wanted to say was, there are so many different methods. You have the hairspray method where you paint the miniature in silver, for example, then apply some hairspray and then chip the miniature, by hand, either with a needle or another tool. Then you have the classical paint approach, where you paint silver droplets where you want the chips to be, and then apply a dark and a light paint around the edges to simulate 3D. It also just depends on the kinds of chip that you want, right? So for the lighter chips, there's just so many things.
I have returned. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about different methods of chipping miniatures. And like there's one that I'm 100% sure that you wouldn't want to do. And I'm fairly certain that you also can't do it. Simply because you need hairspray for that.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And the other method is just simply, painting the chips. But, doesn't take a genius to tell you that.
Yeah, no, I was actually kind of wondering if I should, if the first method is like easy or if it's kind of a pain in the ass.
I mean, if you have like anything like a brush, a sponge or a beaten up brush, then it can be easy. Then it's just, apply some silver and be random with it.
Yep.
Good old chipping fluid.
I'm a painting expert right now anyways. I decided to go with my Nighthaunt.
Alright.
Because they do deserve it. It has been so long.
Yeah. And Miguel is mentioning the chipping fluid. That's also, of course, a good idea. But
sounds like a fucking...
You'd need chipping fluid for that. In general, when I make guides and I do tutorials and stuff, I try to...
And I'm like, I mean, that does make sense, I guess. But I kind of wish you didn't use an airbrush. We could have one. Planning to get...
Yeah.
But like, dang.
Yeah.
What a shame. But yeah, you're a Centurion. I'm not currently watching the stream actively. What are you doing right now?
I'm just outlining all the areas where the yellow paint is basically not gonna reach.
Okay. What are you gonna do? Put there instead?
No, I basically, instead of working my way from a complete dark tone to a light yellow, I basically only set the dark tone where the dark tone will be, so that I have an easier time building up the yellow.
Oh, okay. So you're just working from like, this is technically still yellow.
Yeah.
It's just the darkest yellow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Are you gonna like use the shades because bright shade can be very tricky?
Yeah, I have some Imperial Fist contrast, which I might use. Not quite sure. But even if, then only as a shade. Tabletop Radio sends a wave. Hey man. What are you doing? How are you doing? I mean, hey, nobody has complained about the music yet, so...
Nobody is here? Please complain?
No. I want you to know that I value you as a friend, you know that?
Okay, thank you. But...
There's no but.
Okay, awesome.
I like that you asked but, and the singer in the epic just sang, no one, it's over. So...
I don't have any like background music right now. It's just kind of winding down, I suppose.
Tabletop Radio says, doing very well. Just got done with regular Sunday night RPG session. How it's been. You know what's crazy? Everybody this weekend seemed to have like the most amazing social night that you could have. Hang on, what?
That's true.
YouTube tells me it's having trouble connecting. Okay, never mind. Yeah, but everybody seems to have like such an amazing social weekend. I literally did nothing. My girlfriend...
You had like an anti-social weekend, actually.
Yeah, I did an extremely anti-social weekend. I was just sitting around. Like, I was just in my flat, working away at different projects.
Mm.
So yeah, that was my weekend. I actually lived like... The flat has never looked worse than now that my girlfriend has left. And that is not an admission of like...
That makes it sound like you broke up. Maybe you should phrase it differently.
Maybe, yeah. But
now that my girlfriend has left me, my room complete mess. Like, whoa.
Also, it sounds like I'm like an insane man-child or anything. That's not
Yeah.
what I mean, or that's not what I actually want to say. It's just that it kind of is nice, you know, to not have to make sure that everything is clean all the time. And I somehow over enjoyed that so much that today, when I walked in the kitchen, it's actually never looked worse, even my time when I was single. So yeah, I spent today just cleaning up and, you know, painting with oil after that. I wanted to have such a productive weekend, and I was just didn't go that, as I imagined it would.
I mean, we all have those kind of weekends, right? Where we just, I don't know.
Yeah, but can I afford that as an upcoming freelancer? I don't know.
I mean, you're not a freelancer yet, I think, so maybe.
Yeah.
You're still in the learning phase. Also, you can, like, you have technically speaking, like, it's assuming you for, like, 70 more years, right?
Yeah.
You would have basically, like, you know, 70 more years to become a freelancer. Like, you have to do it immediately after of college.
Well.
You know how I bought, like, a helmet? A fucking steel helmet for LARP? And I was like, oh, but I cannot wear it right now?
Yeah.
You know, it's a helmet, it never goes bad. I can still wear it in like 50 years.
Yeah, 100%. By the way,
it's like the same thing with art, I think.
Fun thing that you mentioned your helmet. I actually wanted to ask if I could borrow that one. Do you have it in Dortmund?
I'm pretty sure it's not here. No.
Right. Okay.
I am. Yeah, it's in my hometown.
Ah, fuck. Right then.
Yeah. Why?
I want to borrow it for. So I'm doing a. I'm going to come to a. How to explain this? I am volunteering to go to a school full of like middle and first graders, and
I think I remember your girlfriend is like working there, right?
And I'm going to play as a knight and tell them all about chivalry and the olden days and stuff. And I thought like maybe your helmet would be a lot cooler than mine. But yeah.
I mean that's true. I think my helmet would be more like a typical medieval helmet, right? Instead of a fantasy. I would agree with you, but I don't.
Right.
It's in the hometown. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Maybe I have to go visit it then, my hometown.
I could bring the wizard hat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it better.
That's definitely like not fantasy. That's accurate medieval outfits. Did actually people ever actually wear a wizard hat?
Good question. That's like, what I thought as well.
The stereotype of witches wearing that has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Did people ever actually wear that?
Good question.
Was there like ever like was it like women's fashion made and stuff like that? And then people were like, oh, if you wear this fashion, you're like evil, and that's why it was associated with witches, or was witches do be wearing weird hats sometimes?
I could possibly know. I never thought about that.
Okay. I'm gonna Google it actually.
Do that.
Okay, Wikipedia article for witch hat or pointed.
Right.
Oh! Oh, hell yeah.
What?
Hold on.
Are you gonna send me something?
Well, like, I can send you the first picture that Wikipedia shows you, but yeah, no, the pointed hat is apparently actually that people used to wear sometimes. And I think it's mostly associated with old people and, Jews. Okay. You know what?
But of course.
Let us explain a bit why people, like, decided to hate on it, huh?
Yeah.
They did enjoy a bit of anti-Semitism back then. Okay. But yeah.
Tabletop radio.
The origin.
Yeah.
Oh, The origin of a witch hat is, as displayed today, are disputed. One theory is that the image of anti-Semitism, of course, in 1215, the country issued an edict that all Jews must wear identified a pointed cap known as a Judenhut. Potentially, the self had then become black magic, Satan, other acts of which would.
Okay,
Another theory posits.
I think I gotta actually stop you because for some reason your mic is really acting up, and I only get every second word.
Yeah, because it's my old microphone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was wondering if I should like say something, but it actually got really bad when you talked for a little bit longer.
Okay, that's a shame.
Sorry.
All of my microphones have like fucking dumb issues. And with all of them, I mean both of them, but.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, tell me about the thing.
Tabletop Radio, you mentioned an RPG session. Which RPG did you play?
Ooh.
And I'm assuming you mean a pen and paper, but of course could also mean an MMO.
What if you just played like Baldur's Gate? I mean, that's actually possible, right? Sunday night, like you just hang out with people, play Baldur's Gate online.
I mean,
imagine that.
I recently remember that I bought Divinity for all of us to play on stream, so maybe we should.
Yeah, I know, right?
At some time figure it out how to do this, because it's been like, what, 2 years since I bought that, so...
You know, I recently found fucking Evolve in my Steam inventory. For context, like, I think I also, like, bought it so we could play it in multiplayer.
Right.
But that, Evolve hasn't been able to be played in multiplayer for, like, 8 years now.
Oof.
It has been unplayable for more than 5 years. I think you can still, like, play it with mods, so in theory, we could, still play it, but, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a fucking blast from the past. Also the fact that we're finally actually like playing Battlefield 1 in multiplayer, you know?
Battlefield 1 is such a shame, such a pain to connect to though, but I'll talk about that soon because Tabletop Radio Hours said, we played Household by Two Little Mice, and yes, it is in fact a pen and paper RPG. Cool.
Don't you mean Mousehold then? Ha 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 ha. No, I'm sorry.
That's cool. Household.
I don't actually know that one, no.
No, I actually don't either, no.
Like, I played several tabletop RPGs now.
Most
of them are kind of mainstream, but yeah.
The one tabletop RPG that I played was Tears, which is a German zombie apocalypse RPG. And like pen and paper RPG, and the other RPG that I played was written by my friend who hosted the Tears session. Like a completely self-made RPG with its own set of rules and own universe, and I really like that one a lot as well.
I kind of want to do that too, where I like host the D&D session, but with a different combat system, one that I've just directly copied from a video game, basically.
Right.
Because frankly, D&D combat is boring, in my opinion. Right. I'm not a big fan. Because like we're a party of at most 7 people, but usually it's more like 5. Because someone is always missing. But that still means in combat you always have to like wait 4 or 5 other people have done their turn. And then you do one action and usually you just kind of miss and then it's like next turn, right? And even if you hit, wow. Like you deal a bit of damage and then it's next turn. Very unfortunate.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe I'm not playing it right.
That's what I was thinking as well, because I remember one clip that I saw a while ago of somebody like getting multiple multipliers on their hit roll and then landing a crit and then dealing like 200 something damage to a dragon. Like basically insta-killing it.
Yeah, but that's like a high level thing, and you're using a lot of resources to do that kind of stuff. And meanwhile, if you're a low level character, and you're just kind of fighting a fucking skeleton or whatever, or like 5 bandits, you know? You're not gonna waste your spell slots on it. You're not gonna waste all your good shit on that.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of, oh, I cast Firebolt. Whoops, Firebolt misses. It's your turn now. Oh, I cast Firebolt again. Wow, this one hits it. 4 damage. Okay, it's your turn now. And that, like, what I just told you took 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tabletop Radio says it's a good storytelling game by a small Italian company. Very not mainstream, but I love it. Playing
I mean, it's great.
playing fake creatures and in a huge house using buttons as shields and half scissors as swords. Cool ideas. That sounds nice.
Oh, that is fun.
That sounds like I don't know that movie. Yeah, there's several stories.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, for example, yeah, or
There's a-
Arietti, or
I think it's kind of just a trope, you know.
it actually is.
I've read like
genre.
15 Donald Duck stories where that was a plot point.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's cool. That's dope.
Mm.
The household.
But yeah, we do play also in my D&D group. We did play like several systems already.
Yeah.
We're currently thinking about like getting into Masks, which is like a modern day superhero setting where we all play a superhero, which could be fun.
Right.
I don't know. I just hope the combat is a bit different, you know?
Yeah.
What I would like to do, basically, if I had to write my own combat system, I wouldn't write it, I would just steal it from Slice and Dice, which is like a smartphone game.
Yeah.
Where,
I
you know,
remember.
everyone rolls one dice, and then you basically have to split the dice for your party. And, you know, everyone has 6 possible moves they can do. And you kind of have to go, and you kind of have to work around the fact that you might not even with rerolls, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it's very fast, so, you know. Also, honestly, the main reason I want to try DMing at some, I could Warhammer miniatures.
Yeah.
As the DM.
Oh yeah,
100. So cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, I say that every time this topic even slightly comes up, but if you're like preparing a fantasy RPG for pen and paper, getting yourself like a cursed city from Games Workshop will supply you with the coolest miniatures you could need for that.
That's like what I was thinking, but also more like, I don't know, I have so many goblins, for example, and goblins are a very common enemy. Yeah. Maybe I just do a goblin campaign, you know?
Yeah.
Or you fight, you know, the Night Haunt could be used, all ghosts, and I could do a ghost hunting thing.
Yeah.
A lot of cool ideas. Unfortunately, I'm like, I should probably get a dragon miniature.
Oh yeah, the undead dragon. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Dungeons and Dragons, it should just be a normal dragon miniature.
Then the Stormcast dragon.
Okay, actually, there's a big problem in that, you know, the color of a D&D dragon is very important. Like, very important. Like, just the fact that a colorful dragon is or a metallic dragon is good, I think, is like, you know, kind of a big deal. Leaf Lizard, hello.
Oh, Leaf Lizard, hi.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing, Leaf Lizard? I think I haven't seen you in the chat so far, so what brings you here?
Basically, what I don't want to do is buy a Wheater dragon miniature, paint it like golden or whatever, or paint it green, and then I find out that it's a gold.
Yeah.
That's a completely different thing. But I also don't want to have 5 different dragon miniatures standing around, even though it would probably be fun.
Yeah, the logistics behind that would be a nightmare.
Probably some good Etsy stuff for that, though.
Yeah, but like the bigger Etsy miniatures are actually just as bad as the Games Workshop miniatures, so...
Just as expensive?
Oh yeah. At least
I don't know, I got a giant for Christmas.
Yeah?
From Etsy. It is pretty tall, like it's as tall as my Carnosaur, basically.
Yeah.
And that one was like 40 euros or 30.
Yeah.
And I think from Games Workshop it would have absolutely. So.
Yeah. Leaf Lizard says, just wanted to see some painting of Warhammer minis. Well, you're at the right address. I'm being joined today by my good friend and colleague Theinrich, who today, I also just remembered, didn't put in the thumbnail because I didn't expect this to work out this way.
Yeah, I'm being the unpaid intern today. Not even I'm not even being paid an exposure.
Yeah. You're being paid so little exposure that your microphone cut out both times when you tried to say the word exposure.
Wow. Awesome. I fucking. Do I need to control the? Do I need to like connect the one that's really good and really sensitive? So every time I'm it fucking sounds like a.
It's actually
Maybe it would make things better.
it's actually not too bad, and you do have like moments where it's just even when you're talking for longer, it's actually completely fine. I just thought it was funny that you're actually getting so little exposure that the mic cut out both times when you tried to say the word. It was just a funny coincidence.
I'm just annoyed, because why can't it be? Why is it that I never have like a flawless own experience?
Yeah.
Why is there always something with microphones? Especially since I joined the stream and suddenly it's yapping section.
Yeah.
I feel like normally your streams are just chill out, and now it's yapping.
By the way, I have one person.
Oh, what you had 11 viewers for a while though, apparently. Now it's 8.
What do you do?
Like, for a brief second, I think it said 11. Whatever.
I'm
trying. 6.
I'm trying to chase that nice high from last time where I had 36 concurrent watchers.
What the fuck? How?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
What did you do?
I don't know. It was apparently very entertaining.
No, like what was the stream about?
Painted a Sterling general.
Oh, the horse guy?
Yep.
That got 30. Was this like last week or?
Yep.
Whoa! And that's why you started streaming so late, because you're like, maybe it's the time.
Oh, it definitely is the time.
Okay.
But yeah, let's not dwell on that for too long. I actually, the thing is, I'm actually not sure if I'm actually doing a good job painting this miniature right now, because there's so many.
It's the first coat right now. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It looks kind of messy right now.
It's the first coat, dude.
Yeah, but usually my first coats are cleaner than this. Oh. I think there are already like so many details on the miniature, like so many proper details, like all the engravings. By the way, this miniature, this armor right here, just the concept is so much cooler than the current way that Games Workshop is going. I think they should do more like this again, with all the emblems everywhere and like the holiness of it, the aura. The Centurions are really aura farming to stay hip with the kids.
Are you missing staggered on scale green, by the way?
Yes, I actually am.
Oh.
Oh, hang on, or am
I just pulled up.
Yeah, I was wondering about that as well. I was going through my paints and I was like, weird. I have Thunderhawk blue 2 times, but I don't have staggered on scale green.
We might have mixed that up then last time.
We might have mixed
it has been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just tried to paint something Cantor blue, and I grabbed Cantor blue, started painting. That's weird. That shade is slightly off. That's like a slightly different Cantor than you.
The Tabletop Radio asks, did you finish that grot on Scrick from the other week? Yes, I did. Actually finished it.
Can you show?
Actually finished it on stream. There we go. Let's go.
Oh, it's a green guy. I mean,
doesn't that look nice?
Are you planning to paint like the rest too?
Yes, but that time I will do a video about it.
Okay.
Like the old world Warhammer tabletop, Warhammer Total War inspired paint job, because this one is inspired by Warhammer Total War. Games Workshop and this guy completely black. Yeah,
that's the thing, right? Like, I thought the Warhammer-inspired paint job would just be a black robe.
Leaf says, I'm new to the hobby. I have an itch to play after building a lot of orc minis and fixing up pre-built Tau minis.
Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Don't buy the rulebook.
I mean, the rules are all digital and, like,
oh yeah, you can just download it from somewhere, but don't like spend too much money on rulebooks because they will all be outdated in 2 years.
Yeah,
they'll be all outdated.
If you want to play the orcs, like I'm guessing because you also mentioned Tau, your orc minis are 40k, right? Because orcs are actually in every single setting that Games Workshop produces except for Horus Heresy.
Honestly, we can probably, when someone says, I want to get into what, right?
You might cut out, sorry.
When someone says, I want to play Warhammer, they kind of a...
Yeah, but when I think of orcs, I usually think of like the fantasy orcs. So
That's
just asking.
true, yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing 40k. Okay, bingo. Yeah, if you want to play 40k, I actually would recommend you try to get your hands on the old 8th edition rules. Because the 8th edition, in my opinion, was a very strong edition, like was very nice in terms of rules. And 10th edition might be better to get to know the game, because it is a lot easier, but it also offers a lot less variety and a lot less coolness, in my opinion. So
Yeah, a lot of YouTubers don't like the 10th edition because it removed a lot of stuff. In general, like, Games Workshop has removed a lot of chaotic features of 40k.
yeah.
Like, for example, tanks used to have a whole damages they could take, you know? Like,
Yeah.
oh, your tank got shot in a way and now the aim is worse. Threats got damaged, now you can't move a tank anymore.
I mean, that still applies. That still is the case.
But there was like a little chart where you had to roll the dice to see what happened to the tank.
Oh,
Does this
yeah.
happen?
Okay, no, that doesn't happen anymore. Only with
Yeah,
exploding.
And basically now it's just, yep, your tank took 5 damage, so now it's lower. And it's very consistent, it's always the same. The question is, of course, do you like it more or do you like it less?
The thing that I don't like is that back in 8th edition I used to have 6 pages, basically, worth of tactics and commands that I could give my units. And now it's reduced to 1. So, yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do think the lack of blast templates was such a big loss. But
Yeah.
it has been ages since then, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. As for the future of Games Workshop, regarding monetization, did they do anything again? Was there any drama I missed?
Yeah, I can talk about that in a second, but David Dominguez is in the chat and says, "What's good, brother? As someone who's new into the hobby, do you think the future is bright or a bit uncertain with how Games Workshop seems to be monetizing things?"
Yeah, that's why I asked that.
Oh, that's why you asked that. All right.
Yeah, that's why I asked that.
I chose armies that are polar opposites. Orcs may go burr, how guns go burr. I mean, yeah, sure. The orcs are going to be a lot more fun for you, though. The Tau are like proper, yeah, like you can sorry. With the Tau, you can be very tactical, and with the orcs, you're just going to have a lot of fun. As long as you don't expect to win and your army to behave, because the orcs are going to be fucking around a lot.
Honestly, if you expect your guns to do damage, then you might have more orcs. Because, like, the orcs can shoot a lot, but it's, you know, there's a reason why it's a meme, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of an actual competitive threat.
David says, had a friend describe going to a trading card expo and feeling like going hollow finance focused. Sorry, what did your friend ask because of my comment? I didn't hear him clearly. Oh yeah, he asked he basically relayed your question to me regarding the monetization of things. So a lot of big Warhammer content creators, especially the animation and art-driven content, are currently being sued or DMCA'd into submission.
Again?
Yes, again, and this time it's like going for real. Games Workshop will just throw everything they have at you, even if it's frivolous, just to intimidate you and like bog you down with so many claims and strikes that your channel just gets taken down, even if it's like unlawful. Because
what kind of channels?
Text-to-speech device, for example, Alpha Boozer.
No, Alpha Boozer hasn't made 40k content in like years.
Yeah, but he has come out now and said that it's actually gotten so worse that he thinks of deleting all the text-to-speech videos just to protect his channel and source of income.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I read the other day that only 80% of people who buy Warhammer models actually play it. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I'd say. Because it's just hard to meet up, right? I currently have like, what, 2,000 miniatures or something? Like, round about that. no, maybe not 2,000, but like 1.5, I'd guess. And my last game was in December, and the last game before that was also in December, like the year before. So
I haven't played Warhammer in like a year or two, so yeah.
yeah, it's just there comes a time. So when we started playing Warhammer, we we had like some sort of like basic Cold War arms race where we tried to outdo one another with our armies. And then once basically the A levels were finished and we started to, you know, go to college and stuff, we just were separated over such long distances that the, you know, play part was left on the wayside and the painting part took over. Like,
I don't know, yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised it's like 80%. I'm surprised it's not way less. I would have guessed like 40% people that buy Warhammer play.
Oh.
I would say like when it comes to playing actively instead of like playing like I wonder if I think if the question then the number would be lower than 80%, right? Because I know so many people that have Warhammer actually actively play.
Yeah. Oh, so many comments. Holy shit. David says, yeah, began. Hang on. I need to go from the top. My Taulus has Farsight. I want to use him because the Ethereals are like we can rule like gods, angry gods. I mean, Farsight has his own, like, I don't know how familiar you are with the lore currently, but he has like his own thing going on. I think he's actually a successionist in the current state of play. So he has actually his own enclave going on, the Farsight Enclave. And might actually slowly be corrupted by Khorne as well, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff you can do with that. The Flea28 from Twitch says, I know the feeling, I have some resin models I haven't eaten yet either. What? What the fuck does that mean?
You haven't what?
He hasn't eaten his resin miniatures.
Hmm.
It's like the meme about when you play against a Tyranid player, you need to 3D print all your miniatures with edible filament and force the player to eat every casualty he inflicts.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. David says, yeah, I began at the start of the year, and I'm almost done with Blood Angel, Thousand Suns, 2K army lists. Heard that most common game format is 2K points. Is that true? Yes.
Yeah.
2K points is very nice. 1,000 points can also be nice.
It's a bit high scale. If you like want a short match that only lasts one day, maybe go like 1,500.
Yeah. 1 to 1,500 is pretty nice already. But 2,000 will, you know, leave you open to more tactical stuff and, you know, actually give yourself a good army composition and not just a company composition.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it might also take longer than a day to finish a map.
That might be true, especially when you start the game. But we also like kind of suck at the rules. JD knows all the rules and we don't. I got tabled in the last game that I fought against him. Like the quota was like I had like 14 points and he had 56. So yeah. He dominated me.
So that's why you don't like the new edition. plays a new edition once heavily. You know what? Actually, I think 8th edition.
Well, I often do the comparison of like a World War I general who's used to the Napoleonic strategies. So I thought like, all right, I have like a lot of tactics, right? And I made the same army composition that I always do, only to find out that all of my tactics, all of my gadgets, and all the stuff that I usually relied my tactics on were gone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course I just got tabled because Space Marines have like 3 books of tactics still, and all of their doctrines. I also didn't go with the times, so he had like his fancy Primaris Marines and Primaris tanks, and I still rolled up with Leman Russ. And it was during that battle that I really realized, okay, hang on, maybe a Rogel Dawn or 2 wouldn't be the worst, actually.
The power creep, it got you.
David says, I heard that the most common... he gains the lifespan of the people he kills with a sword. Captain Farsight, I mean. Yes, I heard that as well. I think you're right informed.
Oh.
And Leaf Lizard says he has the Dawn Blade that makes him live longer. He's not aware it's a sword. Ah, yeah. Of course. David says, about to start painting some Zangors. Going to try out brushes versus sponges versus markers. Now we're talking. Lance Smith says, yet another base Centurion user. Well, user should be put in very big quotation marks, but yeah, I love the Centurions. I love their armor design, I love the lore, I love everything about them.
You know, I do kind of wonder how many of your stream views do you think are only into 40k and not like into Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar?
Could you repeat that?
How many of your stream viewers or YouTube viewers in general only play 40k and paint 40k and don't have any like fantasy or Age of Sigmar?
That would actually be a nice poll. I think I should do a poll in the chat. Hang on, I'll set that right.
But also like specifically the difference between like Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers in general would interest me.
Yep. And there we go. Let's start the poll. I was pretty uninspired by AOS when it released, but I do play historical occasionally, and Necromunda. Ooh. I mean, historical war games, especially for tabletop, are also very cool. I really like what people, you know, like sometimes I see clips from battle reports and I'm just like, ooh, that also looks nice. The problem with that, though, is that for some reason, many historical war games have gotten so expensive that they actually rival GW's prices. And then I look at the miniatures and I'm just like, nah, that's just not it. I'd rather pay the price for any GW miniature. I feel like for me, 40k will be the gateway drug into tabletop gaming. D&D is probably the OG. I mean, D&D, technically speaking, isn't not tabletop, but like pen and paper. Like more focused on the roleplay aspect.
D&D basically spawned the existence of Warhammer, right? Because like,
yeah,
I think Warhammer was initially created because they noticed people have a ton of D&D miniatures like and didn't use them. And they were like, oh, what if, you know, let's do a system where you can combine them to fight big scale battles.
Well, actually,
I think that was it.
Actually, that is not true.
No?
Historical wargames have existed since the Napoleonic ages. Because of like people you know, recreating mock battles with their
but I think like the Warhammer
like
setting with like dwarves and stuff like that is specifically because it's based on D&D as a setting. And D&D miniatures.
That might be, I actually don't know that. But the tabletop genre as a whole is actually a lot older than I think.
I mean, sure, I get chests.
Do you have Thor Garradon? Yes, I do have that. Is he still here? I actually don't know. Theinrich, is your miniature still here?
I don't know who that is, Thor Garradon.
The one that I painted, the Plague Marine.
Oh no, I have him.
Alright.
Here.
So I do have Thor Garradon, but I got him from eBay, and I got a knockoff version, a 3D printed version. And then I used that one to create a Plague Marine video. One of the best videos I actually ever did on YouTube, so...
Maybe put the link in the description, in the chat.
Can you do that, actually?
Okay.
Thank you. That would be very nice. Theinrich will provide you with the link.
Alternatively, go to Shorts and sort by popular.
Oh yeah.
And you will instantly find it because it got 300,000 views. Insane.
Yeah. I got all those views while I was basically camping as well. So I started camping with like a few hundred views and then I came back to 300,000. Let me tell you, I rode that high for over a week.
David asks, is that your favorite era of history? Napoleonic era 3 times in the stream. Oh, I felt like a Napoleonic era general. Yeah, war games actually have existed since the Napoleonic era. And then like a third thing goes.
The thing is, I don't know why, but the Napoleonic era is... I know quite a lot about it, I'm just a little bit drawn to it.
And you got dragged in a short because you said that the empire was based on Napoleonic Empire.
Oh yeah, I got dragged in a short when I discussed the Empire and Warhammer Fantasy being based on Napoleonic era tactics, and people said no, it's actually the Landsknechts from Fantasy, and I would love to hit back with no, because they're not Landsknechts, they're state troops, and state troops are a late medieval age invention at the earliest. So
why not do it? Why not make a video about it or a short?
No, because then I
do a clapback. Go. Do a drama. Do a clapback. It would be hilarious. Come on.
It's too late now. Like that short is already 1 year old. Do I really want to clap back to something that people said to me 1 year ago? Wouldn't I really? Yeah, would that really be the mature thing to do? I'm not sure.
Honestly, yes. That makes it funnier. That makes it less petty. It makes it sound. If you reacted instantly, it would kind of sound like you got butthurt over the comments, and like decided to reply because of that. But because a lot of past now, it will come across more like, hey, you guys got something wrong, by the way.
No, now it will come back like, oh yeah, those few comments that you made a year ago, they've actually been living in my head rent-free for this entire time. And I just can't hold it in.
You can just point to the stream, to like the clip where I tell you to do it, and now it's not that it doesn't live in you, it lives I had free,
Right. David says, it's the classical era for me. Julius Caesar was larger than fiction, in my opinion.
Was he?
I mean, Julius Caesar is, of course, like classical era, especially Rome. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? I do basically every day.
Really? I mean, I don't, but yeah. I think my problem is less that I think too much about fictional settings to think about real world settings.
Fair enough. For my diploma, I just have to research so much about history because I want to have my things in order.
I think about Laconia every day, but that's not real. That's fictional.
I recently watched an entire documentary about banking in the Middle Ages. Actually, banking in the classical ages.
Okay, that sounds sick, though.
It is sick. Like, the Romans had even a concept of cashless paying. Like, transferring money over great distances just via checks and balances and stuff. That was insane. Elio says, sup. Hey man, how you doing? What brings you to me this night? Hope you're doing well. Do you think Shadowsun and Farsight are secretly friends? I don't know, actually. I think Shadowsun is too much of a ethereal loyalist to consider Farsight a friend, just on political grounds. Because the Tower actually just as indoctrinated in their, way of life as the Imperium is. They're not all free thinkers, like, at all. Elio is doing good.
Make it sound like you're like describing a Warrior Cats plot. Do you think Shadowfur and Farsight are friends in Warrior Cats, but book 3? I think in English it's just called Warriors, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it's called Warrior Cats, which is stupid. I think Warrior Cats is like objectively a better.
It is, in my opinion. Yeah.
Like, the movie Blood and Sinners is just called Sinners in English, but in my opinion that's like so much less descriptive.
Oh, Elio is not feeling good anymore because he retracted his message where he told me that he's feeling good.
Oh.
I saw that. You were too late on that.
I didn't retract anything.
Looking at your homie like it just got selected for the decimation.
What?
Making a classical era decimation reference. Tyraniton says looks bad, see ya. Well, as Steinrich put it, it is the first code, so. But yeah, fair enough.
Does he mean that as like I'm leaving? Be bad or?
Yeah, pretty much. Ilya says,
wow.
Ilya says, working on my Stone Golem Orcs conversion. Stone Golem Orcs? That sounds
that's cool.
kinda sick, dude.
Stone is so tricky in Warhammer because it's always like cool in theory, but when the actual gray miniatures, you kind of have to be careful that it doesn't just look like you didn't paint them.
You have to put like it's the same with like Black Templars, for example, and them
but
just
when it
looking
works,
like only primed. You can't rush art. Well,
is Tyraniton like a someone who shows up often here?
No, I just seen him for the first time.
I like the implication that he like saw your stream randomly, tuned in, saw that you didn't page up, and fucking left immediate message. Looks bad, bye. Like damn, Diva, go off. Okay.
He did go to save her one time when she was facing the Imperial. I mean, but I think that was before his succession, wasn't it? I'm not quite sure on the timeline on that though. Nazir is the Emperor's true name. Well, I don't think he's selling enough copper for that. I just recently read an article about a Turkish trader who ordered a shipment of copper, and he was actually just delivered like millions worth of dollars worth of copper. And when the shipment came, he found out that it was actually only like regular bricks painted with a copper color. So yeah, Nazir strikes again, and he's still in business.
Wow.
I want to do a purple orc army with just a bunch of bases with no minis on them. I mean, that would be the most cost-effective army you could possibly paint, right? Paint, in quote-unquote. As crazy as it might seem, some people get a kick of stomping on a dream. Well. But that's fair.
What's this referring to?
I guess the chatter who said my miniature looked bad.
Oh, right, it wasn't.
No.
I feel like I just enjoy dragging it too much, right?
That's fine. Oh no, Elio is rejecting all of his messages, and this time I wasn't quick enough to read it. God damn it. Elio, what game are you playing with me? Hang on. You know what's funny? Now that I, reading your message again of people stomping on a dream. When I started this channel with the explicit desire to mostly make miniature makeovers and eBay rescues, I actually played around with the idea of doing it a little bit like Gordon Ramsay style, really like...
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, like insulting the miniature and saying, oh, it looks so bad. Of course, in a little bit more of a performative act. But when I did like the first clips of that, it just felt so weird, and I was like, nah, this is actually not the way to go about it. I'd rather, be a little bit more positive and say what the person did good. And if I find something like weird or bad, it's like more fun if it's just confusing. Like
that's why you still don't have 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Shame.
I love my Mecha Dread. Ooh.
I mean, I do remember in your very first video, Rescue Man, you do have like literally a Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
When you zoom in on their faces.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
But I never did that again, did I? You forgot the Nine Oil? Love triumphs over hates every time.
Where's the Nine Oil?
I remember that one time where, and Moist Critical made a video about that as well. About the guy who played Rush B. Like some person played a piano piece. And there was like one person in the comment who got like a lot of flack because he said, this is actually very subpar, I think I could do a better job.
And then he actually did it.
Yeah, and then he actually did do a better job, and you're just like,
fucking
well...
based, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like one of those rare times where the enemy villain is actually skilled. What do you do then?
Some real fucking hater type shit.
Actually, and I do want to be clear, sometimes I do, like, looking at a lot of stuff that you guys are doing, I'm just like, oh, holy shit, I have to step up my game.
Ugh.
Why are you guys watching this? Sometimes I do have, like, sometimes I'm, of course, on point, like with this squig. The squig, for some reason, turned out so well. It's always, like, miniatures that I don't care about that turn out amazing.
You didn't care about Lady Linda?
Well, it's not my army now, is it, right?
No. True.
Like, every time I paint something about, like, adjacent to my army and my own projects, it turns out, like,
it's
amazing.
Because, like, maybe you have lower expectations for... Yeah, maybe you just have lower expectations for stuff like that.
But, like...
And you're more willing to do weird and crazy shit, so you decide, like, oh yeah, let's hang Christmas tree lights on Urfu.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be, like, part of my army.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Mm.
I mean, it's the same with like, nude sketches in university, right?
What?
Right? Yeah. The more... This may sound a little bit mean, but... The uglier the model is that I'm sketching, the better the sketches turn out.
Really? I didn't have that at all, honestly.
Yeah?
I think, okay, I have to be careful about how I phrase this.
Oh?
I do think it's fun to draw fat people, because, like,
Yeah.
drawing the folds is, like, a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. I recently had we recently had, like, a fat old guy. This sounds so mean. But the sketches that I did of him were genuinely one of the best sketches I ever did in that class.
I wouldn't be... Yeah. I mean, yeah. Makes sense.
And the funny thing is, though, like, my professors agreed with me on that. I talked about this with, like... Professor Barthold and Professor Crawford, and they were both like, "Oh yeah, no, we can 100% agree on that."
Imagine being a nude model and you like pose, and after you're done and about to leave, you use someone in the background, be like, you know, the uglier the model is, the better my drawings turn out.
That's what I mean,
like,
right? I don't want to say that.
So mean.
It's not like the person is ugly, but if the person like objectively pretty. Then I do have, like, I don't know, I think just subconsciously I do want to paint them pretty. And that leads to a little bit more stress, which leads to a worse outcome. I think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
And if I don't care about capturing aesthetic beauty, then my sketches are just way more natural, right?
Yeah, that's a trick, just draw ugly shit.
Lance Smith says, a Grux Earthshade will always look better than Nuln. I mean, always is kind of a hard, like... It is an absolute in this case, and only Civ deal in absolutes, of course. But, like, a Grux Earthshade, I always use a Grux Earthshade and Nuln Oil, depending on if I want if I'm working with a cold or a warm color scheme. If I'm working with a warm color scheme, for example this one, I will use the Grux Earthshade. But if I'm working with, for example, a heavy, like, blue-tinted color scheme, I'm always going to use Nuln Oil, because it's going to make the miniature look cold. So that's how I distinguish the two. Both of them have their use cases, and both of them I use very frequently, and that's like the only like difference I make. Leaf Lizard says, I saw a Reddit comment making a Naruto comparison. Like the relationship is similar to Naruto and Sasuke, just less sexual, if at all. What is that comment even related to?
Wait, was it a Twitch comment? Oh yeah. Making a Naruto comparison to Igrix Earthshade and Nuln Oil, or...
Yeah. Wrong
Which
headlocks?
is Nuln Oil Naruto?
Wrong head. May I ask, Twisted Nerves Pain says, may I ask where you are from? I have trouble placing your accent. Oh, I am from Germany.
We're from Italy.
Ah.
Yeah, we're from Italy actually. He's lying.
I'm from Germany. Theinrich is from Italy though.
Yeah.
Heinrich is from Italy. Well, of course. I've never heard, like, of course.
Yeah, it's all part of the act.
Yeah, it's like Luigi, Mario, and Heinrich. Who doesn't know?
It's like a camouflage thing. They will never suspect.
Yep. Only Sifty on absolutes. Is an absolute. Yeah, I know that meme. Twisted Nerves painting appreciates.
Okay.
But yeah, we're from Germany.
Maybe the Reddit comment about Naruto and Sasuke about Shadow Sun.
Oh, you're right. That's probably it. Yeah, I think you're right on the money with that one. I mean, that might be true, and that would actually be cool because it would mean that Games Workshop's like actually knows how to write proper relations.
They don't.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't read enough Warhammer to make statements like that. Maybe they're good. Who knows?
Thank you. I am American myself. Ooh.
Oh dear.
If that's the case, what is the time where you are right now? Because for me it's 4:45 a.m. So I'm really interested to see how y'all's times are from wherever you are. This is a question to all people watching right now. Good morning, day, evening, y'all, says Chris Faulkner. Ooh. Chris is back in the chat as well. Let's go.
9:45 p.m.
9:45.
What's that in
11:45.
military?
What?
What's when? Is PM before noon?
No, PM is after.
Okay.
Post midday.
So it's always every viewer every day,
Yeah.
but it's not, which hour.
They're all from America.
What's 4 o'clock called again? Like the hour of the dead or whatever? Ominous hour?
I don't know.
I know, it was something bad.
It was something bad. Interesting. Alright, 9:45. Chris Faulkner's 4:45 a.m. Chris, you're from Germany as well, aren't you? Or are you from Sweden? I don't remember. Evening? No. For me it's a.m. So for me it's 4 in the morning. I am up very early. Or rather, I haven't gone to bed because I didn't want to risk it. The funny thing is, I realized that this might be an amazing time to stream when one time I fell asleep too early with my girlfriend, and then we just awoke at like 2 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep, and I was like, well, why not stream today? I just might better go streaming. Oh boy, 2 in the morning. Go stream. Cyborg's Maka would be cool for an alt build for Dakar Jet. Cyborg Maka?
What is a Maka?
What is a Maka?
Maybe it's just Maker misspelled in like orc to Kish.
Yeah, maybe.
Or they're referring to actually Mecha, the
yeah.
thing that Muslet go to. Yeah. Cyborg Mecha. They want to go there.
Yeah. It can only face in the east. In one direction.
The orcs get their powers from worship and belief. So once in their lifetime they have travel and supercharge like someplace.
I once had the comparison that the stock market is kind of like based on orc logic, because it's only like the way that people believe in it that the stocks go up or down.
Hell yeah.
Which I find is the right analogy, definitely. Maka is similar to Dakar? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean it's like I think it is an orcish spelling of Mecha. That sounds correct.
That makes sense.
Or Maker, that would also be fun. Like a cyborg Maker. It's just a guy that on the battlefield walks around with cyborgs.
That fits? Yeah.
That would actually be cool. Imagine playing an army which starts with like a few models, but as the match goes on, the few models like they not like horrors where they split up, but more like you kind of like demon summoning. But more like a core part of army's identity.
So like an army that starts with few models and you have to kill them quickly, or otherwise they're just going to multiply and slowly overwhelm you.
Like imagine if that's how Tyranids worked. How fucking scary would that be?
That would be fucking scary, yeah.
Oh, Gene Stealer. No, what if Gene Stealer cultists work like that?
Ooh, that would be actually even better.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fun campaign.
I don't think you could really actually balance it in competitive Warhammer. Because, tabling
I mean,
It's a very realistic thing that can happen.
yeah, but I mean, competitive Warhammer is like also something that I really don't pay any attention to, because I think
True.
it's like the meta sweats who look at the rules and then build their army only to like and look you straight in the face and say, well, my army is actually completely painted and yours is not, so I start off with 10 victory points already. Shut up, nerd.
You build your model in a way where he raises gun
Oh my
instead of
god.
holding it down, and that means I can actually see him.
I once had a guy who was so salty, like a friend of mine told me this. He built his cannons for fantasy in a way that the crew was basically loading the cannon. He
No.
built like a mini diorama, and the guy told him straight to the face, "Well, your cannon can't shoot because one of your crew members, the one who's loading the cannon, is blocking the cannon, so it can't shoot." And he tried to enforce that rule and didn't want to play
What?
because of that.
What do you mean?
And that's like the most babyish kindergarten thing I've ever heard. A grown man said that.
Also, like, what? How is does it just mean the cannon can never shoot, or?
Yeah. No, you have to actually destroy your diorama right now, or otherwise I won't.
What do you mean? That's so stupid.
That's like so bad. And you wanna know wanna know what's funny? It was actually that guy's first, like my friend's first or second game, so he was still being introduced into how the game works. And the other guy,
was it?
It was Barney. It was the bus driver.
Oh, it was Barney? Oh
yeah.
My god.
And so it was a grown-ass opponent who said that to him.
Wow.
And the reason he said that is because he was all cocky and like quote-unquote friendly in the beginning. But then Barney started to table him because the luck was just on his side. And then the guy just started to become nasty rule lawyery.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, dude. How small must your dick be? David Gomez says, it'd be cool if Tyranids would evolve mid-match if left unchecked. Oh, that's actually such a cool mechanic.
Okay, Genes like cultists multiply and Tyranids evolve. So like round 1, it's just a bunch of miners with like little with drills and stuff. Maybe on a bike or two. And then like round 3, fucking bugs come in and turn into bigger bugs. Oh.
I mean, that would also...
wouldn't...
I mean, the Space Marines and their doctrines already have like a mechanic when army evolves mid-battle, so I think that could actually be quite cool adapted.
Oh yeah, true.
In the way just choose your form of evolution mid-play.
Imagine a Tyranid model, like a super heavy Tyranid model, right? Like the Tyranid equivalent of a Rogal Leaf.
Yeah.
No, what's the Baneblade, I mean. Tyranid equivalent of a Baneblade that has the gimmick that if it takes damage from a certain kind of weapon type, like bolt gun or melter gun, then it basically turns immune against that weapon.
Ooh.
Like, oh, I took 7 damage from a melter gun, and that means... Let me roll real quick. Oh, that's a 6. That means I'm immune to... Fucked. That would be annoying.
I got 6 hits from that gun. So now my Tyrannid knows how that gun works, and I'm adapting your weapons profile to my secondary weapons or something like that.
Oh, that's way better. My idea was kind of shit, but that's actually genuinely cool. Like, I can shoot plasma now. And on the other hand, maybe like a unit which starts out shit, but their gimmick is that can like... And so while they're fighting other people, they gain...
Yeah.
What do they call it? Hit roll.
Yeah.
Kampfgeschick.
Yeah, no, it's a hit roll.
Okay, yeah. They gain the hit roll and the initiative, because they copy the fighting style.
Like Tau can only use melee, no crude. Imagine playing 40k where both players play to their army's weaknesses.
Do you have like a models shelf or something we could see? Dude, you have no fucking idea. Corner.
You want to see my model shelf? I actually have to illuminate that. Maybe I can show you. Hang on.
He has like a model's room, basically. A model's closet.
Oh my gosh, that must have been so loud. My microphone fell down. Sorry about that, guys. I'll be right back. I'll just illuminate my my room a bit more. Oh, the sun has come up as well. Look. Peace. So let me show you. Very dramatic music as well. Over there, in the corner of my room, all the shelves are full with miniatures. Is that the Dvorak? No, it's Beethoven actually. And yeah, all the miniatures. You can't see the individual ones, but I've got like hundreds of high elves. I've got the Empire. I've got Imperial Guard. I've got Camry. Over there also a bunch of Skaven. 2 Cursed Cities. Eternal Guard from the Wood Elves. Space Marines without end. Over there's another wall with like all the boxes. So yeah.
I keep forgetting that your camera view is kind of mirrored. It's
Oh,
always trippy. No, it isn't. Wait. No. Huh? No, I'm confused again. Whatever.
Generational hobby debt? Well, it's actually a generational hobby collection. Because I've kind of like inherited a few armies from friends and people who didn't want to play the game anymore.
Yeah, true.
That's why I have so much.
So many models are straight up not yours.
Oh yeah. The entire Empire technically is Hightower's army.
Mm-hmm. The Tomb Kings are not. No, the Tomb Kings are yours. The Bretonians.
Oh yeah.
Are they? No, the Bretonians aren't yours, right?
No, the Bretonians are from the Herald of the Silver Camp. My gosh, can my camera please stay focused?
I'll have to disappoint you, but it's 5 o'clock. And I would prefer to get my sleep before I have to get out of bed tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go offline now.
Alright. In that case, thanks for, accompanying me all this time. I'm not sure if I would have made it to 4 a.m. if it wasn't for you accompanying me.
I mean, it's 5 a.m. or?
It's 5 a.m.
I think
now.
we started at 4 a.m.
Yeah, okay, roundabout, yeah.
But yeah.
So, thank you very much. Have a good night's rest. And I'll see you then.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I closed the YouTube window.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's not how it goes. See ya.
See ya. See ya. That dramatic motherfucker. Now show your pile of shame. Dude, my pile of shame is so insane. I actually want to do a pile of shame drinking game where I review all the miniatures that I still have to paint, because some of them are like in unmarked boxes. So I go through all of them, and for every miniature that I don't remember that I own, I'll take a shot of something like strong, like of strong liquor. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good idea? Ah. Ilias is working on my custom orcs character named Opshak Daka. Opshak? Isn't Opshak like a criminal organization in like this one series? I don't remember which one. Oh my, I have a spare room for my shame. A lot of people actually do, so my pile of shame might actually not be that impressive. I never thought that to say that. I've had like one influencer review their pile of shame and I'm just like, pathetic. That's like 300 miniatures. I have that in unopened boxes alone. But yeah, it's really not something to brag about if I think about it. So am I really winning? I don't know. Twisted Nerve says, I've only been to one Warhammer event so far, at least in the past 30 years. Last year I went to a weekend-long tournament. It was a really great time. Just reserved my spot for this year. Nice. Yeah, I never go to Warhammer tournaments or something like this. Reason being is just that there aren't many around where I live. Mainly. Landsmith said, I thought my Pile of Shame was bad, and then I heard, oh, that's only 300 miniatures. Yeah. The thing is, when you have a YouTube channel and you try to do this like your full-time career, justifying to buy more miniatures becomes incredibly easy. So yeah, might be a mistake. My Pile of Shame is like an intercessor box, Lamau. Well, that's good, right? It's like, what is the metric? Is a small Pile of Shame better, or is a big Pile of Shame better? I think a smaller one is better. Oh yes, I can relate. Oh really? Do you have a YouTube channel of your own? I mean, Twisted Nerves Painting, now that I think about it, does sound like a proper YouTube channel name. I heard someone describe getting into the hobby like, oh, a combat patrol is kinda pricey, but let's get into it. Oh yeah. It always starts with that one miniature that you get for free, right? But yeah, if you're new into the hobby and want to get into it and want to collect your miniatures, always go to third-party retailers. Always go to, like, for example, in Germany we have Kutami, and I think they ship worldwide. So yeah, check them out. I'm not partnered or anything, although I'd love to be, because then I could maybe get some extra cool deals for use. So yeah. But they're like always around 15 to 20% cheaper than buying from GW. So yeah, definitely check them out. And of course, eBay is a great resource as well. Wait, you all get free minis? I mean, when you say you're new to the hobby, like the clerks are instructed to give you a free mini to paint them in the store, right? Mine's half of the Space Marine Survival box and the Votan patrol, and I'm currently working on the Commander's kill team. Oh. But again, you know, what's better, a small Pile of Shame or a big Pile of Shame? I think a small one might actually be miles better. So yeah, who's to say? Next one, actually, I'll take a break from the yellow for now, and I'll just take a dark gray for the bolters and all of the, like, moving parts of the exoskeleton. What happened to my Shin Gray? Goddamn. Elio, why are all of your, like, are your messages classified or something? You retract all of them. What's happening? Tabletop Radio says, I'm forcing myself to paint what I have before I buy more. I mean, that's the right way to go about it, isn't it? Oh, are we comparing Pile of Shames now? Landsmith says, mine is some Night Goblins, a few Throgos, Terminator Librarian, 3 Reavers, 11 Neurogowns. Okay, that says 5 1989 Terminators, not 51,989 Terminators. Alright. 10 Beast Snaggers and a Beast Boss, all a build more 75% done. Had an off-putting experience today. At a local Warhammer store. I get in and there's some cops talking about how they frequent the place. Eventually one recounts laughing about how one of his friends threw their back out, slamming some... What? I got into Warhammer trying to escape super fascism, now I embrace it. Well, it's the pipeline, right? Next is Helldivers, and then, you know, before you know it. My Pile of Shame is full of orcs, plus conversion. Makes sense. Mine is mostly high elves, like my own personal Pile of Shame. Because I bought a lot of them from eBay and like other sources when fantasy was discontinued. And now I'm good for like forever. I have hundreds of spearmen. Spearmen alone. Fist says, I'm doing the same. I have several armies I've collected to paint for myself and a large pile to paint to donate for a few charities. Need to work through what I have. Well, that's good. That's the thing that I really like about these streams. Sometimes I do have miniatures that I would like to paint, but I don't know what kind of project would make for an interesting video. And that's where these streams come in. Giving me just an excuse to paint these guys. Without having to worry about if the video is going to be interesting or not. Because it's all live. All happening live with you guys in tow. So I can, you know, paint a little bit more simple, do some testing beforehand. Are you a sucker for good deals? I'm still kinda kicking myself for not getting this Blood Angel army on eBay when I first got into the hobby. But it's been fun painting it myself. Well, yeah, I am definitely a sucker for good deals, which is also why I stopped looking on eBay. There were just too many good deals, and a financial death of 1,000 paper cuts is not the way to go. Not the way I want to be remembered by. Love supporting a good cause? Oh yeah. In regards to what Twisted Nerves painting said. I am always toying around, like for a few years now I've been thinking about doing a little bit of charity work in terms of Warhammer myself. I want to do a little bit of a lottery for people who just, for like, you know, the younger fans. So what I want to do is get in contact with a GW clerk near me and tell him like, okay man, like every person who gets into you who is new to the hobby, give them like a voucher that I've prepared, and then they can win for Christmas a miniature of their choosing already fully painted, like just as a nice thing to have. And then I think of like giving free people the prize, like free possible slots. But I never have time around Christmas to do that. That is a great idea. Oh, thank you. But again, I unfortunately never have time. So that's definitely a thing. And also money. Also a little bit of an issue. So that might be more of a thing if I like have like, what, 10k subscribers or something. So, you know, keep hitting the subscribe button, yeah. If you do like the content, that is. Only if you do like the content. You'll get me some, I'm 15. Lance, how late is... Oh, right, it's in the evening for you, isn't it? Well, depends on the miniature that you want. I'm not painting you a knight, man. But a character model is always in there. And that's mainly what I want to do, like a commander or something cool, right? So not a tank or something, but a miniature that would cost like around like 30 bucks maybe. So you have like a nice hero or other character model. And then that's completely painted. So it's also not too big to draw too much attention to it. But just a nice thing to have, like a nice token. I thought that would be a nice idea. David says, I'm a bit wary of those painting by supporting Ukraine models that seem super overpriced on eBay. Honestly, the painting by supporting Ukraine stuff, I also think it's very mediocre. First of all, I think the painting like is not worth the price, as you said. And I do think it is kind of like selling out, shilling out, right? Because how are you like, maybe you're supporting the painter who's Ukrainian, but I think it's very shallow. I'm not a fan of those miniatures, and I have seen them. So yeah, not a big fan of that at all. As we say in Germany, da kommt mir die Galle hoch. Landsmith says, does Reaver Titan count as a small character model? Well, if we're talking about Adeptus Titanicus, then I'd say yeah, sure. I actually found it funny how in the beginning we talked about how Games Workshop is, you know, starting to sue creators and threaten lawsuits without end. And then I never got to actually talk about it, which I think is good, because I wanna, you know, didn't want to drag the mood down. I never actually got my point across. Now this is Dvorak. It's the Moldo, so I don't think so. Let me see. Itava. Can I scroll down a little bit? Oh yeah, no, it's Dvorak from the New World. Yeah. Is it though? No, hang on. No. Not true. I actually don't know who wrote this. I actually don't know. The Moldo. It's a German piece, but I don't know the compositor. I just want to paint Magnus. Twisted Nemesis saying, I'm currently painting Magnus and Operative Umbral 6 for 2 different charity auctions. One is for a children's cancer charity, the other is for a disabled veterans. Damn. Why are you even getting involved in that? Like, how are these auctions even happening? I was so intrigued how this is, like, on the logistics behind it, because I would like to partake in stuff like that as well, if I could. I guess the scene is just not as sophisticated here. Or maybe I'm just not involved enough. I don't know. Might also be the case. Oh, sorry. Guys can't see anything. I just want to paint Magnus. Yeah. I have Magnus as well. From eBay. Like, pre-painted. And for ages now I've been wanting to do a miniature makeover with him. But the project is just so huge, and with like study and work going on as well, I can't find the time to paint him properly. The next Primarch that you'll see on this channel will be Lionel Johnson in a Game of Thrones color scheme. Like the Lannisters, like Tywin Lannister. I bought a Magnus for like $77, but now I regret not just painting him myself. Yeah. Lionel Johnson as Tyrion is amazing. Well, I think it's kind of like it's not too inspired, in my opinion, because I think the connection is very... Like, it's a little bit of an obvious connection. I just hope the paint job works out good. It will be a very thematic though. I will really try to make it as cinematic as possible. I place a lot of value on my videos on trying to make it as entertaining as possible next to being quote-unquote educational. But yeah, I'm working on a student's budget from a one-room apartment that I share with my girlfriend, so sometimes the cinematic experience is not too, you know, not too epic. I had a viewer contact me about one event. He sent me a pair of minis to paint for the event. He's going to run a small local Warhammer 40k tournament. I have an auction to benefit a charity. Nice. Is Cypher Tyrion for Lionel? That might be an interesting idea, though I think now if Cypher and Tyrion, the aesthetic of the two is just too far off. So where Lionel Johnson as Tyrion Lannister is like very close, they have like similar faces, similar hairstyles, And you can just paint the army, like the lion even is on the armor and stuff, so it's not that far of a fetch. It's mostly just like a paint job consideration. Cypher, you have to really like go hard in terms of like conversion to make that work. So in the end, you wouldn't even consider him Cypher anymore. I think you either lose Tyrion or you lose Cypher in the process. Like the aesthetic of one of the two characters. Oh, she's still sick, or did she recover from 2 streams ago? Oh no, she actually did recover. Otherwise, I probably would not be doing this stream right now. She's currently with her parents. She's visiting her family over the weekend. You know, the coughing is still going on every now and then, but she's mostly recovered. My strength is, by the way, also fading fast. Because, yeah, I did not get enough sleep over the last days. But I will try to push on for as long as I can. Everything needs to at least have a base coat. But yeah, if you're wondering why I'm painting so sloppily right now, because I'm tired. It's 5:16 AM. The sun is now well up. So yeah. Maybe I should do it like this. That's a bad idea. Okay. Let's not do that then. Ah, some lovely music we have going on. And yeah, I think it is mostly thanks to Theinrich that I'm currently still painting. But also, you know, huge credit to you guys for commenting so much. And keeping me talking. That always helps in keeping a stream going. So thank you very much. For being so engaging. As for this Centurion, I think I will have him as part... So I'm not quite sure if Horus Heresy has Centurions. I've never seen one in the Horus Heresy setting so far. So if I can't use him for Horus Heresy, I will just use him as, so like, from the lore point of view, for my own Primaris chapter. I'll use them as just like Imperial Fist, as an Imperial Fist detachment. Because my chapter is an Imperial Fist successor chapter. So I think that works out nicely there. Twisted says, well, I'm glad you were streaming. Wouldn't have run across you otherwise. Just subscribed. Oh, thank you very much. Hang on, did a notification blow up then? I think it should. I don't hear the notification sound, so if I don't catch it in the moment, I always miss it, so I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. Oh, and Marango also followed 1 hour ago on Twitch. Damn. I miss that all the time, because I don't get the notification sound over my headphones. I don't know why. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. I hope my content will be worthwhile. The next video will come out this Friday. And another stream will be happening this Wednesday. Now, because I have the time to prepare a little bit more content than usual, because I'm currently in a state of limbo in summer break, where I don't have to work and don't have to go to university. I have a couple of weeks where I can really push forward with YouTube, and I have a plan completely, like I have a roadmap already laid out and 6 videos in the pipeline, so we get a consistent upload schedule for the next 2 weeks. A lot of people also like participating in the poll, which is very nicely. Let me quickly have a look. We've got 25 votes, most of you are playing only or mainly Warhammer 40k. Interesting, but it's actually not that big of a difference as I thought. I thought this would surely clear like the 70% mark. Oh, David Dominguez also subscribed. Let's go. This one I catch. This one I caught. Let's go. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it, guys. I'll be sure to not let you down. Also, very nice music today. So, still the Moldar. Nice. Twisted Nerve says, excellent, I really enjoy live streams. I have trouble juggling everything and getting into that flow state during a live show. Really appreciate live streams. Well, thank you very much. It really has come down to a lot of training and, you know, trying to keep the talking up. Sometimes this means that the paint job is a little bit, you know, suffering from it because I'm not as focused. But, you know. Some things are just happening off camera, but other things, you know, sometimes it really does work out. For example, when we painted this Sterling General for the old world, which I think does have some lovely details and, you know, proper fade effects. Very finicky miniature. Sometimes this just does work out. So, that being said, the next stream, so now that my girlfriend will be returning back, due to her job, I will not be painting during the same hours that I am right now. I will be streaming at around, so the next stream will probably start either 6 or 7 p.m. CET, which is Central European time. So you might not be able to catch it from America. I will try to stream for as long as I can, of course, to hopefully see you guys. But yeah. That's beautiful. Love the color choice. Oh, thank you very much. Chris Faulkner says, sadly these hours are more for night owls or really, really early birds here in Europe. Yes. And because I don't... That's the thing, right? I always want to do one stream for my American homies and one stream for my Euro bros. Which I think works out really nicely. And as long as my girlfriend is, you know, fine with it, I'm happy to continue this kind of, you know, bi-weekly, not bi-weekly, but 2 streams every week schedule. I don't have a problem with it. I, of course, would love to stream more, but again, I don't want to bother my girlfriend with it. Because she actually has a real job. She's actually done with college. Well, that was for your normal hours, not 6 p.m. Well. But yeah, these streams have been really amazing. Thanks to all the people joining and talking, telling me about their experiences. And, of course, for everybody who's new to the stream, I have my email address in my in the channel description. And, of course, the link to my Instagram account, which I'm telling you because sometimes people send in their progress and the projects that they're working on right now. So just some quick photos for us to go over on stream. And I always love that. I love to have a look at what other people are doing because, you know, always the projects are very interesting. And especially also for newcomers to the hobby, it is a great way, you know, to send in their current state of play and hopefully get some constructive criticism from me and the whole audience in general, of course. So yeah, if you want to send in your progress, either do it via Instagram DMs or my email address, which you will find both in the channel's description. Doesn't she start some secondary trainings soonish, or will that be parallel to holding her current job? That's actually a good question. We're not quite sure ourselves. She will start a second degree soon. That's sure. That's true. Which basically, basically expands on her first degree. She will basically, with her second degree, will be able to teach what she learned during her first degree and more. So she studied to be an actress. She went to acting school, and soon she will be able to, teach music and English alongside, because she did acting with a focus on musicals. And yeah, it depends how her hours in that second school will be. That will be determined if she can keep working or not. Or like to full hours. It's complicated. We'll just see. For me, I'm an art student, which means I'm studying to be professionally unemployed. No. I really will try to become a freelancer after school. But I'll keep it realistic, so if I don't see any progress in any significant progress in the first 6 months, I will get into a more regular trade. But of course, ideally, I will just be able to do my own art and illustrations and do YouTube alongside. That would be perfect. We'll see how that all works out. In the meantime, the only thing I can do is try to work as hard as possible to make that happen. As Mounty said, you always gotta keep moving forward. Tchaikovsky. This guy's hitting hard right now. Twisted Nerves Painting says, awesome, my wife studied quite a bit of theater and acting at school as well. She became a math teacher though, works with troubled kids. Dang. Well, my girlfriend will probably, my girlfriend and I will probably do the same. So after illustration school, my idea was to become a sailor like my father, my father, grandfather, uncle, and great-grandfather before that. Become a sailor and captain on a ship. But my father actually said no. He'd rather I become a teacher as well. Which, wouldn't be the worst thing. To get a little bit political, COVID really scared the hell out of us. And my father was like, alright, the one job that'll always exist. The few jobs that'll always exist will always be doctors, teachers, and gravekeepers, basically. Gravediggers. So yeah. What should the real job be? What would be the real job pivot for an art student? Well, as Twisted Nerve Spinning says, teaching is a noble profession. So, an art teacher. It is also like the classic pipeline, right? Study something and if you can't make money with this course of study, become a teacher. Or again, trying to become a sailor. And eventual captain. So completely different direction, but again, I come from a family of sailors and captains, so kind of like the family tradition. Dance of the Night State. Prokofiev. remember hearing that song for the first time. I was shocked at how cool classical music could be. Sadly, in a lot of countries, teacher salaries do not reflect that. Yeah. Well, teachers make it quite decent money in Germany, but you know, depends on where and what you're teaching, of course. But yeah. Twisted Nerves says, I was always interested in art since I was a child. I studied art at college, but I focused on nursing. I became disabled and went back to school again for an art degree. Oh, really? But the same about Gerswin. Another composer, I imagine. Never heard that name before. Hang on, I'll take a picture of your message so I can check it out after the stream. The Centurion, by the way, is coming together rather nicely, even though I'm mostly painting AFK now. Like, my brain turned off. And I need to find my phone. I'd recommend Rhapsody in Blue. Oh, Rhapsody in Blue I actually do know. Alright, then I do know something from him, but not the... but not the name. Okay. Bingo, there we go. Is still rather rough looking. But it is at the same time also coming together as well. I just feel my body shutting down. Damn, it's been a long time since I've been this exhausted. Let's see how far this will take us. My girlfriend will also be coming home at around 10 AM. So, gotta make sure to be awake for that. Promised her. She asked me today on the telephone, oh, will you make sure to get a good night's rest? And I was like, night's rest? Crazy? I'm going to paint through the whole night. And then just get to school all the same in the morning. And she really regretted that she wasn't at home to stop me from doing this. Heh. Alright. Thank God I decided to take a quick detour from the yellow and do the grey instead. Really is working out here. Okay. What do we want to do next though? There's a lot of areas that I haven't touched yet. Because of the awkward angles. Ooh. So I will take out the Avalanche Sunset just one last time before going over to again something else. And I'm still thinking of maybe doing the torso black, but I think that I will reserve for the captain maybe. I gotta experiment with that a little bit more. Yeah, okay, it's the right yellow. My course of study, by the way, is actually not art, like classical art. It's actually illustration, which means that we will, you know, we take many of the same classes that our art students take as well. But instead of focusing on all the liberal arts, like for example, we don't have sculpturing, we don't make sculptures. And instead we also have a lot of courses revolving around digital arts, media design, and stuff like that. I actually have a whole video on my channel about that. So if you want to check that out, how art studies actually look. and what finals are like for an illustration student. Definitely check that out. Paganini 24 Caprices, opening one in A minor. Bingo. Chris says, I assume that works out for you normally. When I was at uni, I had a course at 5:30 in the afternoon. Darkened room, always fell asleep. Oh yeah. Sometimes you just can't help it. I have one day where I have like all the theoretical studies, the theoretical courses right after one another. Our course of study is very practical. We have a lot of practical training. And like hands-on training. But we have one day where we only talk about like art history, color theory, image theory, aesthetic, and stuff like that. And we have all these courses like in bulk right after one another. I tell you, I do like them. I don't want to sound like too much of a bum. I actually like am very engaged in those courses. But if you have a heavy night behind you, going to those courses and staying awake can be quite a task. Which yellow are you using? Might have missed it. I'm using Avalon Sunset right now. So a little bit of a less vibrant, calm yellow. Though don't worry, we will return to more vibrant yellows very soon. Or maybe not very soon. I might actually be in the stream before that. My personal favorite yellow. Oh yeah, Avalon Sunset. I mean, it is great. I've used it for ages now. Should we do these yellow as well? Yeah, come. Hey! Stop that. Color theory, etc. at least transfers well into the hobby. Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, I have it the other way around. It's actually a lot easier for me to think in 3D spaces and, you know, paint lighting without references because I'm just so used to painting miniatures. Like 3D objects and people actually are rather not easy, but not as hard as for other people who are only used to painting 2D, like on paper. Well, Warhammer and miniature painting definitely has influenced my art style a lot. And the way I approach painting and sketches. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but Theinrich actually recently got approved for a art exhibition. One of his works will be presented in an upcoming exhibition this autumn in a big museum. So yeah. That's very exciting. I'm very happy for him. By the way, you shake your bottles. Ever tried a vortex mixer? No, never. I have thought about getting myself one. There are also like very like small ones which also are supposed to work. But I haven't really encountered the need for one. Same with an airbrush, though I do own an airbrush, just never using it. Yeah, this paint job is rough. Sorry. Very cool. It has been many years, but I have exhibited some of my work in glass and jewelry. That was back in the 90s. That's so cool, dude. I actually have some training as a goldsmith. back in school, I learned some goldsmithing next to school at like an insane master of the crafts in my hometown, who's been doing this for like 60 years already. She's very old and very skilled. But yeah, that's not a direction that I'd take. I found that really helpful. Also, my son loves it. The Vortex Mixer. Alright. I mean, hey, maybe I will check it out. It's like the same thing, actually, like these painting handles, right? I never really thought about getting myself one of these, because I always thought, well, I have it in my hand, and it works fine. Actually, many of my earlier videos also, have the miniature just in my hand being turned around. And they got these handles just for the channel, because I thought, alright, it would make it a lot easier to show different angles and move the miniature around on camera with. And that's how I found out how useful these things are. Okay, it's a little bit rough. The color doesn't sit 100%, but I think we gotta just move on. That's coming up rather nicely. Hope I didn't... My gosh, I have all my doors open. Nah, the neighbors should be fine. Wonderful! I first started casting in gold and silver with my high school art teacher. Really? Gem cutting and carving as well. She taught me so much. In high school? Where did you go to? Did you go to high school in Erebor? Or like House of Doom or something? Was your teacher a dwarf? Which high school offers such courses? That doesn't work too well. I will email you some of my paintings and some of my jewelry. Still have a few pieces I've made. Ooh, definitely do that. That's something I don't see every day. They do that. Yeah. The miniature looks quite alright from afar, though you will definitely see some problems when you go up close. But that's none of our concern right now. Right now I do wonder which color I should use next. I would love to go into the red already for the trims of the pauldrons, or the white for like some of the decorations. Though I think it would be smarter to not do that and rather expand on the yellow first. I do wonder if I should do a wash first. And I think the answer to that is yes. But I do want to actually try out some contrast first. Imperial Fist contrast, because, clues in the name already, right? You can't see me right now too well. Didn't think it would be that much of a lighting issue. Before I cover the whole miniature in this contrast, I will only paint like the back plate with it. Ooh. Looks rather lovely though. Do have to be careful. It does make it a little bit more vibrant. I'm just thinking of if the flash gets yellow, will still have enough vibrancy and power to stand out and paint it over this contrast, which is why I'll let that dry for a hot second and then paint over it with flash gets yellow. And then we'll have a rather good estimate if this works or not. Twisted Nerves painting says rural Minnesota. Soda! We were a small high school, but she had traveled wildly and studied many things. I wish everyone could have a teacher like that at school. She really developed my love of art. That's nice. My art teacher was fucking useless, dude. He definitely he definitely knew a lot about art, and like his works were also fine, definitely. But I told him that I wanted to study art, and I asked him, well, what is art study like? What is studying arts like? And he always gave me like cryptic answers that didn't help me at all. I asked him many times, and he always gave like the same cryptic answers, like, "Oh, you will encounter many different things, and well, it's different from university to university." And I'm just like, dude, I guess so, but could you like please tell me if it's more like the only thing that I want to know is where do I need to go to get the most hands-on training? And so a rather forward question. And at least he could have said like, all right, I don't know. No, he always gave like these cryptic answers that couldn't do anything with. That being said, I did find an academy that offered like the most hands-on training that I could hope for. The consultant's answer, it depends. Yeah, pretty much. I think it was even more like useless than that. I had those art teachers too, especially when I was younger. Yeah. Like again, dude, I was in my A levels as well. He could have just said, well, I don't know, or it's been so long I don't remember, or my knowledge might have been outdated now. Like anything of those answers. Said he was like, no. Indeed, the consultant, yeah. I'm very lucky to be where I am in terms of like academy. Of course, it does have its drawbacks. Our university is definitely not perfect by all means, but at least they gave me a chance. I do have a collection of rejection letters in my drawer of universities and professors who told me that I literally do have not a single ounce of artistic capability in my bones whatsoever. I actually do have that on paper. I have a letter that says, unfortunately, Mr. Brink, we couldn't, there is no evidence of any artistic capabilities within your works. So we do have to reject you for art studies at our university. Which I'm like, okay, dude. It's, fine. Could you also tell me why? No. It wouldn't tell me why. They just said, you suck. You are the lowest of the lows. The letter literally said that, by the way. So yeah. Definitely a great for your self-confidence and self-worth. So my goal in life is to become a rather decent artist and then have an exhibition in any, like around any university that rejected me, and then have those rejection letters be the first piece of the exhibition to really say, alright, this university said I am crap. Spite can be a great motivator. But it's not my only motivator, of course. I do actually want to do things just for art's sake. And I'm very lucky that my family supports me in this. My siblings are all, becoming doctors and doing something proper. So my father was like, oh well, we can allow ourselves one art student. Alright. The yellow really is taking its sweet time to dry, I'll tell you that. So I did put it on thick as well. Ooh. Reminds me of Kleine Haie, German movie, where one of the protagonists tries to get into acting school. Story's not mainly about that, it's just a reason for the fun road trip. Oh really? Never heard of that movie before, so I don't know. My philosophy is that if you really want something and you work for it, then there's a good chance that you will end up where you want to be. That at least is my own life experience. That being said, just because you give it your all doesn't mean that you'll win. Which might sound a little bit, might sound very pessimistic. But for me it only is, helps me to work even harder. Because at the end of the day I do want to say that I really tried to give it my all and didn't waste my chance that I got. Different generation? Oh well, that explains it. All right. Crazy how we've been streaming for how many hours now? Alright, okay, 2 hours and a bit, that's not actually too much. But there's still so much of the miniature left to paint. How does Guy do it? How is he so goddamn quick with his miniatures? Legionary Decanus says, opinion on Iron Warriors? They are scum! That would be the answer as a proper Imperial Fist player, but honestly the Iron Warriors are kinda underrated, not gonna lie. But I think even that is kind of a cold take, because everybody says that, so are they really that underrated? But yeah, I think in the overall lore, it really is important to have them there, to have them be the breachers for the Horus Heresy, because it is common knowledge that without Perturabo, the Iron Warriors, without the Iron Warriors Legion on the traitor side, Horus wouldn't have gotten shit done. I do think, I'm not quite sure, so I haven't read that many things about the Iron Warriors. I haven't read many novels surrounding them or their own lore as well. So I'm not quite sure if they are fleshed out enough, or if they just have the Iron Warrior Imperial Fist thing as their main gimmick. Iron Warriors and Imperial Fist are like two spectrum of autisms that hate each other. Yeah, pretty much. It's like Bricky said, they're basically the same faction, but the one got better jobs and more recognition. Peter Turbo. But yeah, I do think the Iron Warriors are quite good. I like that they have... I kind of like that they are a direct pendant to the Imperial Fists. And of course they do have a lot of their own stuff as well, like their own unique style. Like all of their demon engines and stuff. But again, I'm not 100% sure if they are fleshed out enough. Though the same could very much be said about the Imperial Fists as well. Like, oh, they're good at defending and defensive structures. Like, okay. Is there anything else? And the answer is no. That being said, though, I did read the Rogel Dorn novel, which, just an FYI, has a horrible translation in German. It's horribly translated. Really bad job. Not the translation itself, but like the way that the whole novel is structured. But yeah, that really made me have to get what Rogel Dawn is all about. So let's see if the flash gets yellow. Does work. And it does. So there is still enough. The flash gets yellow is too cold. So I definitely do need to mix that up. Damn. Can't use it straight from the pot. That would look too unnatural. Because the rest of the miniature is rather warm, and flash gets yellow is too cold. Let me quickly get that off the armor. Alright, that does just mean that I do want to keep the Imperial Fist contrast, so I will try flash gets yellow over the raw Avalanche Sunset first. Legionary Decanus says the one thing that the Imperial Fists get better is more fleshed out characters like Sigismund and such. Yes, that is true. And like people like Alexis Pollux and Omni even. Though, I mean, there we go, email sent. Oh, thank you. I will have a look at it at the end of the stream, I think. Now we're at Mendelssohn's Overture. Let's go. But yeah, Legionary Decanus, what are you working on currently? And what brings you to the stream? Especially at 6 in the morning, if you are European, that is. I'd love to know. Dying to know. What do you want to do again? Oh yeah, Avalanche Sunset over Flash gets yellows. Straight over Avalanche Sunset. Regular highlight. Doesn't work as well. Doesn't work as well. So the Imperial contrast, the Imperial Fist contrast definitely is necessary. We could also go a third route with just taking Avalanche base as our Avalanche Sunset as our base, and then, you know, mix colors to get brighter highlights. But I'm too lazy for that. I started getting into this hobby with the Necron Combat Patrol, and YouTube randomly showed me this video and showed me this live stream. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy what you see. And yeah, today we are painting this nice Imperial Fist Centurion. Last week we painted this amazing Quick Hopper, a miniature that turned out way better than I thought it would. Like, it's not like that I don't have trust in my capabilities, but I mean, this one looks crisp and fresh as hell, holy shit. And we also painted the Lieutenant General and some Cursed City miniatures and so on and so on. A Doge. Lots of different things. And on Wednesday we will continue with most likely a... I know what we'll paint on Wednesday. I'll let you guys know. I heard yellow is the hardest paint, so well done. Yellow can be very hard, yes. The thing that makes yellow very hard to, I guess, master is that many people prime their miniatures rather dark. So if you want to have a vibrant yellow top a dark base coat, you just have to layer the paint atop one another, like layer upon layer upon layer, which is very hard, especially, which is very hard, time consuming, tedious, and oftentimes leads to a rough finish if you don't do it correctly. That's like the hard part. That being said, I think a wash of a Greg's Earthshade before we do the Imperial Fist. Oh, actually, is that true? I'm actually not quite sure. Let's just do the Greg's Earthshade first. Mr. Nerf's painting says, "This evening I'm working on a Paragon Superior, standing over a flaming crater on her base, starting to paint the firelight reflecting off the golden armor of her legs." Dang, some OSL as well. I mean, some OSL on the Centurions would also go very hard. Maybe I'll do that in post. Maybe. I would have picked Iron Warriors as my first model if Necrons weren't my favorite faction and they are more beginner friendly. Oh yes, definitely they are. Necrons are very beginner friendly if you just go with the regular color scheme. The classic color scheme. I mean, when I started getting into the hobby, I wanted to, I picked Warhammer Fantasy as my gateway into the hobby. And I was just infatuated with Bretonia. But I was like, alright, I'm not good enough with painting yet. So all those heraldry and colors, I wouldn't be able to do a good job. So I picked the High Elves instead. And they are a lot easier than the Bretonians. Just blue and white. And you got the gist of it. OSL on non-metallic metal. God damn, dude. You really want to know it, don't you? I finally have time to experiment more with OSL and non-metallic metal with Lionel Johnson. And I really hope I'll stick to that. I chose the yellow and blue for my Trazen Dynasty, since the grey and green are just so boring in my opinion. Oh yeah. Good choice. Good choice. Anything is better than the Terminator look. I actually wanted to do a cool Necron project as well, involving lots of conversions and custom color schemes and so on. But I have so many projects that I just couldn't get to it for years now. And now I just traded the Necrons for some Space Marines with Heinrich. That doesn't mean the project is dead. I do plan on doing that eventually, but I just have other projects that seem more fun and less time consuming. And I do wanna keep making content. What did you think about the new Horus Heresy Terminator? Excellent question. I am very happy that Saturnine finally gets a proper release, the Saturnine Terminator armor. Though, at the same time, I think that they have, that Games Workshop has modernized it and toned down the ridiculousness of it too much. So the old Saturnine meme armor with the huge pauldrons and stuff like that, I think looked in concept cooler than the current Saturnine armor. It looks too modern, in my opinion. It could have looked a lot more rustic and brachial. But the new Terminators, they look good, but my two big mancos are that they don't have the mounted weapon up top between the pauldrons. They don't have that anymore, which I think is kind of a shame because, again, it would just be ever more ridiculous, even more ridiculous. And fun. And they also don't have, they appear to not have the shield generators anymore. Because via their old lore, the reason for the big pauldrons were their shield generators that were housed within them, which was like a hallmark of the Saturnine armor. And at least judging by the trailer, they don't seem to have that anymore. Which I think is a bit of a shame. Other than that, I do really like the Terminators. Again, I think that Saturnine is cool, and I like that they do get representation, at all now. We finally get to have some of those. The Saturnine Terminator Captain also looks insane. Like, holy shit, that's a sweet character model. And the Saturnine Dreadnought is just big. Like, that guy is as big as like a freaking armature or something. So yeah. But even he could have been crazier. I do put all of these thoughts in a more eloquent line of thought in my shorts and in my Horus Heresy reaction. So if you do want to dive a little bit more into that topic, I recommend checking out those videos. A little bit of a self-promotion here. And I also refer to them because I am, again, rather tired and may not be as coherent as I would like to be. Oh, I see. Sometimes less is more, perhaps. Yeah, but I think they could have done more. I think if you do an armor that already looks a little bit, freaky, a little bit funny, a little bit outside of the box, why not go all the way? Why only go 85%, right? But I get why they do it. The Games Workshop does want its matches to be taken seriously. And especially with 40k and the Horus Heresy, they are not willing to take many risks. As opposed to Age of Sigmar, where they just let their designers run wild with it. I started playing Warhammer Fantasy and 40k back in 1987. Is that the game of 87? I've been neck deep in it ever since, though I took a few years off when I was sick. I mean, fair enough. I took a few years off as well. I started playing in 2014, I think. Then dropped it for a few years and then went back to it during COVID, mostly. Go big or go home mindset? Definitely. Push it over the top? Yes. With Saturnine, I do think so. I think they could have gone crazier. And again, I think you see that design philosophy in Age of Sigmar a lot more. Like, the Age of Sigmar models are all so creative and so, unique. Each and every single Age of Sigmar model is just a joy to behold. Whereas 40k and Horus Heresy are rather safe. Though I will give Horus Heresy that, at least they're crazier than 40k. They do go a little bit more crazy with Horus Heresy. DK currently is the worst offender at trying to stay, stay serious and stay appealing to a wider audience. Which, I don't know, makes sense from a marketing point of view, but not what I would have done. But I'm also not the billionaire, so, Whew. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of becoming hard to talk. I'm getting 24-hour live stream flashbacks right now. Yesterday I went to sleep around this time, and then I woke back up at like 9 o'clock. So my body is protesting right now. Let's see how far longer we can keep pushing. I am very, very glad that I picked the Centurion for tonight, or today. Because, last time I did this, I started to paint the Lothern Sea Helm. Which is why the last stream is also only 1 hour long. Because I couldn't keep that up. I was way too tired and the model was way too finicky. Legionary Decanus says, yeah, the AOS artists have a lot of free will in the designs. They're scared of screwing up their biggest cash cow. Oh yeah, definitely. But I think, you know, people will keep buying miniatures anyway, so why not have a little bit more fun with it? Heinrich even goes as far as to say that Space Marines are bottom of the barrel when it comes to the design. And I do kinda get what he means. Because, let's be honest, every mark of Space Marine armor, although it makes sense in the lore, is just the same armor with a little bit of a different design. Do you have some of those AOS models are just amazing. I have never played it, but I have some painted few models just for fun. Oh yeah, I mean, if you have a look at the command core for the Cities of Sigma alone, right? You have this guy, which is like a small diorama on his own. You have the amazing Plague Doctor. And you have, for some reason, a Gargoyle Doge. I mean, shit, dude. And that is the regular human faction. That objectively is the most boring faction in Age of Sigmar. It's just so cool. I mean, Stormcast Eternals are the most boring faction. One last question, from Legionary Decanus. What faction do you think will be the main focus of the 11th edition? In 40k, the main focus. Let me think. I think there's a good chance we will see Dark Mechanicum return. So another Chaos faction, especially now that they did release Vashtor the Archifane. I think releasing Vashtor and not giving him a force of his own is kinda weird. Especially with his grand entrance that he had. So I think we should see more of that. I think the Elder will stay as they are. I think the Space Marines have gotten a lot of attention. I mean, they got a lot of attention anyways. But yeah, I think Dark Mechanicum might be an idea. Maybe the Necrons as well, though the Necrons got the 8th edition already. The Votan, for some reason, just got left by the wayside. They are literally doing nothing right now. So, maybe that'll change, but I don't have high hopes for that. The Chaos factions, like the Chaos Marines, all got their own armies already, so I don't think there'll be much expansion on that, especially now that Fulgrim and Angron have already returned. On the Loyalist side, I'm not quite sure if they are ready to release another Primarch just yet. I think they, you know, it makes sense from a tabletop side, but from a lore side, I'm not too sure. So I think, yeah, my first answer with Vashtor and the Dark Mechanicum, I think is a solid estimate. Vashtor's on my to paint list, I need to get one. I want to make his eyes glow like hot coals. Sounds great. Yeah, Vashtor is definitely a good model. For me, a miniature that is on my to-go list is... Oh my gosh. I do have a video about him where my reaction is like heart-shattering. Like, my heart is shattered when they released Fulgrim and then they said, oh yeah, it's going to be a resin miniature. I just don't like working with resin. I'll be very honest. Maybe it's because of my bad experiences with Finecast. But when I read that he was like made from resin, I couldn't believe it. I was so sad and so mad as well. I'm getting way too mad about a piece of plastic. Yeah. But this Imperial Fist is coming along rather nicely. I do think I will not do a second coat of just clear Avalanche Sunset. I think the next coat should be a mix of Avalanche Sunset and Dash Kids Yellow. Maybe some red as well. Not quite sure. But before we come to all of the details and stuff, I think we'll need to do the yellow first. Yes. So, I mean, maybe the next stream will be the Centurion, just finishing him up. Just thinking about what I can do now. Just waiting for the wash to dry. Finecast is particularly nasty stuff? Yes, Finecast is shit. In one of the few weeks ago, we painted Sly Marble, or the Astra Militarum on screen, on stream, and he is also completely fine cast. And I think now that he's painted, you know, it works definitely. But he was rather annoying to build. I've never seen, for example, there were sprues. Just to show you, there was a small sprue just connecting his buttock to the pouch on his belt. I don't know how necessary that really was. I had to file that off and clip that away to, you know, be proper. And also the quality is not good, and there's a like lotus effect going on with the paints. It's just nasty. So I do hope that the resin is not that bad. Nice, that is beautiful work. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Actually not too happy with the skin, but it definitely works. I think the best skin that I ever painted was this random plague cultist. Like, no, what's it called? A plague bearer? Poxwalker. And after a long commission that took a lot of hours and a lot of miniatures, it was just nice to paint something for myself. This guy was finished in like 3 hours, I think. Out of 4 of Severina Rain, never got a single usability out of them. Really? Damn. I mean, I do have Severina myself. You're telling me she's fine cast? I never even thought of that. What is a lotus effect? Paint keeps rolling off? Yes. Some, especially like resin miniatures, have a lotus effect just because of the of a certain solution that is between the mold and the resin, so it gets off easier without breaking. Which is why you have to wash resin miniatures and finecast miniatures before painting just to get that solution off. But finecast in particular, the kind of plastic that they use, is just has some sort of inherent lotus effect that for some reason, even if you prime it, is still present. So I don't know what kind of trickery and warp evilness is going on with finecast. But yeah, it's not fun. Okay, thank you. Oh, no worries, man. Happy to explain. Gorgeous boils? Thank you. Thank you very much. This miniature was a lot of fun. Only bad thing about him is that he's like worth, what, 3 points? So yeah, filling a 2,000 point army with Poxwalkers, when each Poxwalker takes like 3 hours, might look good on the table, but is a horrible logistics challenge. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What should be our next step for the Centurion? I think the next step is just the yellow. To be very frank. And I think for that I have to just actually mix it up. Like mix it on a palette to be proper, to get the proper yellow shades that I want. And to be honest, it is 6:18 a.m. We started at 2 a.m. roughly. No, we started at like 3:30. I don't want to do that, but I don't want to end it as well. Is the helmet more bright on purpose? No, it's actually the primer. It's still the primer that I used, so the helmet is not painted at all for now. I do want to paint the helmet red, so this trim right here, the trims on his pauldrons, and the helmet will get a red paint job. Because just that's how they are. As Games Workshop presents them, I think they look just really neat that way. Twisted Nerve says, indeed, my sisters are pretty labor intensive like that as well. I put several hours into each one, and that's just the average none. Yeah. I used to do that as well. Can't do that as a content creator anymore. Just don't have the time. And especially when you know, I do want to try to make speed painting guides, so I do want to be as effective as possible. For example, I did a speed painting guide painting these turnits. Like woodland turnits. This little guy will set you back like 12 to 15 minutes. Look like this. So it can be very effective. Red helmet with blue eyes? Ah, actually never thought of that. Maybe blue, but I think that might be too much color. Especially focused around the helmet, you know? Where we already have lots of yellow, the gray, and then the red. Maybe the blue eyes would work if it's just condensed on the blue eyes. Yeah. Such an organic look. Thank you. Also have like a nice leaf base. So I need to experiment with that more. I think that we can get a much nicer woodland base for that. And there's also, so basically the next 3 videos will be this guy right here. This guy is a miniature makeover, so he looked much different when I started painting on him, when I started my work on him. So this is a miniature overhaul. I guess how he looked previous you will see on Friday. After that we will have a Skaven speed painting tutorial, where your army will end up looking like this. So Moonshine Skaven. I do still need to make the base on this one, but yeah, some nice Moonshine Skaven for Theinrich helping out with his Horde army. But I actually took so long to make this color scheme, like the speed painting guide, that he's actually already done with all of the Skaven, so I guess he didn't need me after all. And then we'll get to the speed painting guide. And after that, we get to Lionel Johnson and some Stormcast Eternals. Lots of cool projects just waiting to be done. Speaking of being done, I'm quite done myself. Skaven, my beloved New York Rats. Oh yeah. Though the Skaven might be a little bit more hygienic than the New York Rats. Again, I think the next part on this match is just the... I guess we can wash the grey parts with iron oil, now that the Grax Earthshade is finished drying. My muscles are actually so, like, exhausted. I'm, like, my entire body has, like, an underlying layer of exhaustion that it's actually hard for me to swallow right now. It's been a long time since I've been that tired. My girlfriend will not be happy. You should rest if you're feeling tired. No, but... No, I don't want to leave you guys. I do want to get just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Can't say I gave it my all when I take a rest. I would also really like to do a 24-hour stream again. That was a really fun experience. And back then I also painted Imperial Fists, huh? For some reason, always when I paint Imperial Fists, I feel miserable afterwards. Maybe I should try some Iron Warriors then, see if that has a different effect. So... I really dislike what they did with the Nuln Oil. The new recipe from Games Workshop is just so weak. And it also has like a weird consistency where I have the feeling that the pigments just don't... like they don't spread out properly. I know they did it in an effort to be less staining and, you know, for the paint to focus more to actually land in the recesses of the sculpt. But I quite like the staining effect. It saved you so much money on paints because you can, you know, use the base paint, then paint over it with Nuln Oil, and then use the base paint again. Because the previous layer is so much darker than the next one. in the original one. And a lot of my speed painting guides don't work anymore because of the null node is just so weak. Chris says, are you using different paints, Citadel's Army Painter, AK, whatever, or mostly Citadel? I use mostly Citadel. The only exception to that are the True Metallic Golds. Because Citadel's like Gehenna's Gold and like Auric Armor Gold, they're just so weak. Such a pain to paint. Such a pain to apply. That I switched to Glorious Gold and Hoplite Gold from Army Painter. So much nicer. I have to draw my Necrons and Null to make this to make it spread evenly. Yeah. And even then, like the old Null was just so much more effective. I really gotta try out to give. I really gotta give Army Painters speed painting like washes a try. Maybe they stain more. Maybe that's another area where I will switch to Army Painter. Or Game Color or something. Chris says, I really do not like their paint pots. Dropper bottles for the win. I have heard that. I like the paint pots, like they are very convenient for a guy like me who takes his paints straight from the bottle. Even though I know that they're not supposed to be used like that. I'm basically committing a miniature painting sin by using them that way. But no, it's just so convenient. Don't need a palette, don't need anything. I like Null, I just don't always like its satiny finish. It took quite a while to put all my Citadel paints in the dropper bottles. Ooh, yeah, a lot of people do that. And I definitely get why. And it's not like Citadel paint, like, I'm not quite sure if any range is like superior to another. It really just comes down to the bottle design in my opinion. Like Army Painters paints will never fail you in terms of like drying up or something. Games Workshop paints are prone to drying up. Especially their whites. But even like when it comes to the gold colors, so Citadel's golds do kinda suck in my opinion. But not all of them. Like Brass Scorpion and Balthazar Gold are chads. And even on the brighter side, like Auric Armor Gold, not Auric Armor Gold, Retributor Armor and Liberator Gold, so they're new colors. They also do a lot, like a way better job than they used to. So I'm gonna be real with you, I think the Null made no difference on this medium dark color. Not the old Null. The old Null would have kicked ass. I love AP's oil. Stains a lot. Army Painter's oil. Army Painter's oil? But it's not acrylic, is it? Isn't that like proper oil paints? So that's different as well. I ordered those plastic things to suck water or paint, drop them like a bubble? What? I ordered those plastic thing to suck water or paint and drop them like bubble. You mean one of these things? One of these? Or am I misinterpreting? I like AK for the consistency across their range. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, with Games Workshop it kinda is a coin flips every now and then. Retributor armor with Agrax Earthshade is my go-to. Oh yeah. I mean, the Agrax Earthshade still is the goat. That's one thing. Pet? Smaller, but yeah, something like that. Alright. I did stand it correctly. No, it's one of their technical paints named Oil Stains. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I gotta check out Army Painter more. I think there's a lot of gold, a lot of diamonds to be found there that I don't realize right now. But I do think the time has come where I do end the stream, which is a shame. I would have loved to hang around for longer. Forgot the name. Oh, it happens to me all the time as well. I was playing around with the idea to just, so last time we painted Glauriof van Alten after an old speed painting guide that I did. So on the left you see the guy that we painted on stream, on the right you see my original. The left one is not finished completely, but it's always good to see that my guides still hold up, that you get a consistent result. So I was thinking of maybe finishing this guy, but I just can't. I can't do anymore. I will fall asleep right when I stand up, I think. So, guys. Let's go. What a time to set off. Do you have a guide on glazing? I would love to make a glazing joke, but can't think of one right now. But no, unfortunately, don't have one. And I mean, it's not that difficult. The trick is in either if you have paints that are very opaque, it really is mostly a matter of like watering stuff down. And if you have paints that are already like kinda like don't have that much of an opacity, it also is a thing of like watering it down. Been a blast watching, have a great rest. Thank you very much. Ace? Oh, somebody chatted on Twitch as well. Sir Darwining, if you are still there, thank you so much for watching. Didn't see you there because I put that chat way too much over there. Alright guys, have a nice evening. I hope to catch you again either on the weekend when I'm able to stream at this time, or on Wednesday when I start streaming around 6 to 7 PM CET. Barely finished one Zangor. Well, still good enough. I mean, progress is progress, however small. Very glad I found your stream. Have an excellent day. Thank you so much for sticking around. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for commenting, engaging, keeping me awake. And yeah, I'll see you again whenever I see you again. And until then, take good care of yourself and have fun painting. Bye bye.